What's up? So today we have a Power Stroke 212 3100 psi, 2.5 gallons per minute pressure washer here. Now I got this, actually, well, not necessarily bought it, I traded for it, but my trade is roughly $40 worth of items for it. So, yeah, okay. The person that gave this to me, or sold it to me, said that he was using it probably for a good 30 minutes, and then it just kind of died. Turned it back on, 5 more minutes, it died. Turned it back on, 30 seconds, it died. And he basically doesn't have time for that. So he bought one for me, gave him a credit. Now I have a broken one and he has a perfectly good working one. But, you know, it looks pretty decent. It's probably a Predator 212 on there from the looks of it. This air filter is usually a dead giveaway. I'll look at that later. And there's a couple things I want to look at this, mainly because this does have a low oil cutoff, so I want to check that out, and I'll go from there. So the person that gave this to me said that he bought this about a year ago. He thought it was either a year or could have been just under half a year. Blow that off. And he didn't really use it all that much. And then in the spring, he started using it, and then he has problems, so we're going to take that off. It's a little hard to tell. I did have it tipped over because I had pushed it on the table. Let me wipe that off. That should be enough. So let me go over why. So imagine this does not have a pressurized oiling system at all. It's just a splash. So as the crank moves up and down, there's a little dipper. The dipper splashes oil everywhere and lubricates. Well, as you can imagine, when oil splashes everywhere, the level on the bottom is going to change. If it's just low enough where it's not going to trip this sensor, then you're going to have a problem. It's going to kill it thinking there's not enough. I mean, technically there's not. I don't think that's the problem on this one. So I think we might have water in the carb. For whatever reason, there was a filter in here, but it was shoved up in the top of the housing, not where it was meant to go. So that's problem number one. The choke was on the entire time. Makes me wonder if he just had it on the entire time. The gas does smell fresh. Get off there, you stupid thing. Stupid tube. There we go. Okay. Now the clip is out of the way. The bird just flew in here. That was weird. Okay. Sometimes with fuel pliers, if you wrap it around and then twist it a little bit, it kind of just breaks the seal it has. Okay, let's see what goodies are in here. We're going to try to harness or capture as much of the liquid in here as possible. That is not good. Well, the bowl doesn't look bad at all. There was a little junk in there. That looks fine. I think I'm going to take my air compressor and blow. Well, let's take out the jet. Let's see. Is this too big? What I'm thinking is, that's 2-cycle gas. Well, I'm not thinking, I know that's 2-cycle fuel. Oh, they both came out. So, I think somebody saw a power stroke and saw a 2-stroke. So, I'm going to take my air compressor, blow through all the little passages in there, and put it back on. We're going to drain the fuel because like I said, there's only one reason I know of why fuel should be that color, and it's not good for this type of engine. I noticed there's like a fine powder in the bowl, so I cleaned that out, blew everything, you know, all the ports and everything, so it should be good. But I figured since we're getting all close and personal here, I wanted to go over what I found. Now, let's do this one before I forget. There we go. That was just in the bowl. Where's the actual tank? This was in the tank. That blue is literally the same color as the machine. Now, two things are happening there. One, somehow the machine decided to dye the fuel the same color of itself, or probably the more likely one, that's 2-cycle fuel. I would assume that's at least 40-1. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but there's definitely a little bit of carbon on there. There's a little crusty starting to form. That's usually a sign of oil being burnt. There's a little something there. Especially on the bottom, it's a little darker than the top, which isn't too abnormal, but just all around you can tell So that's not good. Over time, I mean, if you put 2-cycle fuel in there, oh yeah, also, this is a problem. What is that? Off the boat special. So, if you do it one time, that's okay. Not gonna worry. Don't freak out. If it'll burn it, and it'll be no issue. 2-cycle fuel and 4-cycle engine can be used. You just don't want to use it all the time. One tank, yeah, that's okay. You might even argue that it could potentially loosen up a little bit of carbon. Just, I mean, it doesn't, but you could argue it. So I'm going to put one of these. It's an NGK. Oddly enough, if you look at a manual for a Predator, which I'm sure that's exactly what this engine is, just rebranded, it tells you to use this one, but for whatever reason, they put this nonsense in there. So, let me put this back in. We're going to put that with normal fuel, and we'll give it a pull. It's normal fuel in there now. No more 2-cycle. New plug. Like I said, the oil is at an appropriate level. It needs to be changed, but at an appropriate level. Maybe a little higher, not much. Let's go ahead and give it a pull. Turn the fuel on. Yep. Still has good compression. Yeah, I don't want to say that smoke is abnormal, but judging for how much oil is in that fuel, it's not surprising. I'm going to put this, I think I'm going to plug it into the water and see what happens. So he told me that it would do this in about 30 seconds to a minute. So let's do that. Clean the machine a little bit with it, see what happens. Well, I don't really see anything wrong with that. I think it's good to go. As a good scientist, we changed two things. We put a new plug in and we cleaned out the tank. I'm pretty sure it was probably, I don't know, I'm starting to think it was a plug, to be honest. Those plugs are pretty cheap and pretty nasty, but at the same time, you shouldn't be running 2-cycle fuel. It very well could have been plugged in the carb, and we never know. So, you know, if you're having this problem, intermittent shutting down, try all these. Look at your plug, look at your carb, make sure your fuel's okay. Make sure your oil level is good, and you should correct the problem. The only thing that would happen besides this is we would check to see if there was a bad coil. We put a spark checker on the plug, let it run, and when it died, we'd look at the checker, see if the light fizzled out, because it will still be spinning. It should still be making spark. If it's spinning and not making spark, then you know you have a bad coil. Okay, catch you in the next video. Subscribe, put a thumbs up. Later.